this episode of AV Shorts, we will have a guest presenter. John Vellone from Anixter Montreal will talk about automated room reservation systems.
So in order to respect everybody's time, I'll get started right away. Thank you, everybody, for joining this webinar. My name is John Vellone. I'm one of 3 AV specialists with Wesco Anixter. Our role is to help you choose the right product for the right job, or should I say one of our roles, because we do have many hats. So I want to introduce to you my colleagues, Marty Dirksen, who manages Central Canada, and Dwayne Old, who covers all of Western Canada, and myself for Eastern Canada. So how to manage your workspace, how to make the most of your meeting space, how to better understand the way your facilities are being used, and more importantly is how to make your workspace more accessible for everybody. Almost 70% of us have received our first vaccine, and we're probably going to get the next one by sometime August. So we are all looking forward to go working back in the office. To do that, we're going to need to continue to use technology because traveling will still be limited. People will still continue to social distance and being safe. So it's important to well manage your meeting space. I'd like to make this meeting a little bit more interactive. So I'm going to ask you questions throughout the meeting. And if you look on the top bar, you will see a little smiley face with a hand. And all you need to do is click on the little heart, the thumbs up, clap, raise your hand, smile throughout the meeting. I am watching the respondents and the conversation in the meeting. So at that point, I want everybody to interact. One way to manage meetings are these beautiful little Post-its that people put on a door. Go in at your own risk, and some even threaten death or dying. How many of you have already seen little meeting notes like this on a room reservation? Go ahead by show of hands, thumbs up, little heart, clap. I want you guys to participate. So if you see me looking sideways, because I got another monitor there where I'm watching the response, and I'm glad to see a lot of you are awake and participating. So throughout the meeting, this presentation is very short. Please feel free to ask questions. Just unmute your mic and jump in. So yeah, this is one way to reserve your room and avoid people joining in. Another way, and some of you have probably seen this, how many of you have seen these little sliding plates going over in use, not in use, meeting in use? By show of hands, by clapping, how many of you have already seen this? This is a good way. It works. But there's always a clown in the company, and I'm guilty. I've done that, where you just move the slide over because you want to confuse your work colleague. And now all of a sudden he just shows up and goes like, oh, this was reserved for me and now it's in use. Who is in there, right? Or you want to do a prank on somebody. So I'm sure you've all had the privilege of playing with these. I'm not going to ask you if you've pulled the plank, but how many of you have actually used this type of room reservation? By show of hands, clapping, smiling. Go ahead. There you go. Quite a few people are responding. Quite a few people have seen this. Well, you know, with times being a little bit more modern, we're trying to be more efficient. So we're using stuff like Google Calendar, or we're using Outlook. And what many companies do is just create an account for that room, and then people invite that room into the meeting space, you know, and now the room is reserved, which is really good. This is one way, but you have to make sure that people are taking a look at the calendar before going inside the calendar. So unless you have your laptop or your phone with you and you go check, oh, is this room available or whatnot? Well, you're still room for surprises. And one type of surprise is you arrive in the meeting room with the most prestigious customer, and one department decided to have lunch there. Lunch went over and they said, what the hell, we'll clean it during our break. Now you look kind of a little bit embarrassed with your customer because you see this kind of a mess. And once again, by show of hands, how many people have already walked into a room and either have surprised your colleagues having lunch in the meeting room or have just walked into a messy room like this? Quite a few of you. That's cool. But this picture really tops it, and this is actually a picture that I took. So the day after the Super Bowl, you walk into the meeting room in the morning with a most prestigious customer, and somebody decided to throw a Super Bowl party inside the meeting room that you were supposed to use. How many people have encountered this one? Leftover beer bottle, wine bottles, and the whole messy area there right after an important Super Bowl or maybe a Toronto Maple Leafs Montreal Canadiens game. Who knows? But that's quite embarrassing. So what I've noticed is people are getting creative. Let me put a piece of paper on that door. Let me reserve that room. So you go ahead and you put in a nice sticker that said, this room is reserved for manager's name from 1 to 2 o'clock. Well, that's one way to do it. But who knows? The cleaning lady or cleaning man is probably walking by, sees that, thinks that it's from the day before, and rips it off. Now you end up with another surprise. Not thinking also that, it doesn't look very professional. It's not very neat to have papers on all the windows and doors of your meeting rooms to try to reserve that room. So how many people have actually written up a note and stuck it on a meeting room door to make sure that nobody uses that room? By show of hands. But a few responders are responding. That's great. So there is a solution which is much more elegant. How to reserve that room, which is enterprise wide and simplifies the room management. And that's a room booking system. In this case, I'm showing a product by Atlona, which is a room reservation system, also called the Velocity system. This is very efficient because it's visual. It's not a piece of paper that can be removed. This is screwed into the wall. And it has a very big advantage of being able to be deployed company-wide across the whole enterprise. And now you have a well-managed system which is linked to one of your favorite calendar systems. What is nice about this is that you know immediately the state of a room. You can see this from a distance. So if you're walking down the hallway and you're looking for a room for an impromptu meeting, well, if the red LEDs are on, you know that that room is busy. Don't use it. You don't even need to walk up to see the room. The LEDs are lit up and you know that your room is not available. You can have a green LED. So when you see the green LEDs at a distance, now you can see that the room is available. Or maybe you're using an amber warning light, which 15 minutes before the meeting, you have that warning light. The screen is amber. You don't want to walk in there because somebody's probably preparing for a meeting in there or whatnot. And that amber light can be variable, 5 minutes, 15 minutes before a meeting. You want to make sure that that room is not going, somebody's not going to jump into that room accidentally. Now, I'm talking to you today a lot about the Atlona solution because Atlona is one of our business partners, and it is a good solution. It's easy to deploy, but there are many brands out there. And one of the nice things about all the different brands is that they're all scalable. They all link with some form of calendars. This is another brand. I just wanted to show you that there were other brands, This particular brand doesn't have an LED all around it, but still has some visual graphic representation. And what do they do with this brand here is they put a little warning light above the meeting room, just a little bit like when a TV studio or TV station, they have that big on-air flashing light, don't go in. Some labs use that, experiment in progress, don't go in, big red light. But if it's green, well, you're free to go in and join. So that's just another way to do it. And they're all good. They all do the job in terms of reserving your room for your meeting. So I'm going to move along and show you a system diagram of how it's done. These system diagrams, this is one of the many things that your AV specialist will do. Either myself, Dwayne, or Marty will put together a system diagram for your interconnection. In this case, we've got room combining, we got room control, and we've got room reservation all in one. So it may look complex, but actually it's not that complex. So forget what you just saw. I'll give you a brief rundown of how this works. So very simply, you got a gateway. This is the brains. This is where all the processing is happening. A PoE switch, which powers everything, and everything goes over category 5 or category 6 with PoE, and your room reservation screen. This is all, as I mentioned, very simple category connection. So for those of you who are very familiar with running category cable and doing category termination, that's all you need to know to install this system. Now, obviously, this is all connected to your LAN, which is connected to your Outlook server or Google server, whatever platform you're using. And the information about the room reservation is being pulled from there. So if from your desk, you just reserve your room and the information will be displayed on the screen. What's nice about this system is that the same gateway, the same infrastructure can also be used for in-room control. So just add another controlling device inside the room with a few more hardware, and you can now control the room. And nowadays, most devices out there, which may be a matrix, a TV, any form of AV device has an Ethernet connection. So to control the equipment, just connect it to the switch, and now the gateway will see these equipments, a little bit of programming, and now you can control power on, power off, change input sources very easily. Just a little bit about this Atlona product. The VGW HW series, there are 3 basic models out there. There's the HW3. The HW3 can control up to 3 meeting rooms. So one brain can control 3 rooms and can have up to 6 room reservation systems. So 6 room reservation panels. So just one little box. Then there's the HW10. That one can control 10 rooms and can have up to 20 room reservation panels. So one box, you can now have room reservation in 20 rooms. And finally, the HW20, and if you saw the sequence, the way it goes, it can control 20 rooms or have up to 40 room reservation panels connected to it. All this is very easy. It's just a simple category switch all on your company network. It's just that easy to set up room reservation panels. I mentioned other solutions. Well, Kramer also has room reservation solutions, and one of them is the Kramer VIA. So room reservation is possible if you already have wireless presentation systems such as the Kramer VIA installed in your meeting room. All the models of Kramer can have room reservation. How this works is very simple. When you're on your startup menu, if the room reservation system is synchronized with your Outlook account, it will display what you could see here. It will display the meetings. So as we could see, from 10 to 11, it was busy. 11 to 12, it was available, and so on. And that is seen on the splash page. When you walk into the room, turn the TV on because you want to do a presentation, you can walk in there, and if you see that during your block it's red, you can say, oh shoot, let me move over to the next room. It's also good when you're doing presentations, you finish your presentation, you go back to the splash page, you know that it's time to get out and leave the room for your next for the next presenter to use. So it's all very easy to use with the Kramer Via. If you already have one of those, you just need to link the room account to the Kramer box. There are other methods. You've probably seen this in some companies or also maybe in hotels. You can use digital signage to do room reservations. Liberty AV has a package solution which includes the software, the media player, and all you need to do is add the TV of your choice of the size that you want. And now you can display digital signage, advertising, the news, and you can also have a window that shows the meetings. This is great for the reception area, a lobby area where you want to show which meetings are coming up. And it's also a good way for to add wayfinding so people can find direction on where the next meeting is. Any questions at this point? Any comments?
Hey, I have a comment, John.
Yep.
So do you have to be a certified Kramer installer or a certified Atlona installer to sort of integrate those solutions?
Though that's a very good question. For the Kramer Via, no, you don't need any certification. You can learn all about how to program the Kramer from the Kramer website. They have multiple videos. For the Atlona, you have to be a certified velocity dealer. Okay, and for that, that's very easy. You just go to the Atlona website, join into the learning portal, register. You will be granted access, and you can do the training at your own rate. There is also a hands-on training that takes a little bit more of your time. It's easy to do. Once again, once you've registered, you can either reach out to an Anixter staff. We'll contact Atlona and make it happen for you, or you can do it yourself through the portal. I recommend everybody to be registered. At Anixter, we also have third-party programmers. So we could refer you to a third-party programmer who is fully certified. If you do business with a third-party Atlona programmer, now you have access to the product. But it's not painful to do the training, and it's always good to have somebody on staff that knows the product, who's done the training. I have done the Atlona training. It's actually very good. The time spent there goes by really fast. It's a whole series of short video, some questions to answer, a little exam at the end. And if you've paid attention to the video, there's no trick question. You'll get your passing grade easily. And you learn a lot about AV. There's a section on networking that I find it's very well done. So somebody wants to learn about networking, one of the Atlona networking session is well done. You can learn a lot from it. Even if you're an expert network guy, there's a lot of information. It's great review. So yes, good question. There is some training required, but it's all very easy. It's just a little bit of your time that is involved. Any other questions? So for the design process or to choose the right system for your application, you can reach out to one of the three Wesco Anixters, myself, John Vellone. As I mentioned earlier, I cover Eastern Canada, Marty Dirksen, who covers Central Canada, and Wayne Old, who covers Western Canada. And that's what we do. We listen to your requirements, your customers' needs, and then we find the right system for your customer's application. And then we give you all the recommendations for that. So if there are no more questions, I'd like to thank you for your time. I wanted this presentation to be brief and to the point, and to show you some nice solutions which are great for the return back to the office. Thank you very much for your time, and look forward to seeing you on the next webinar.